Hi guys.
Hi guys.
Welcome back to Philippine Antics.
Welcome to Philippine Antics. Quick disclaimer guys, just so you guys know, this is not, basically we're not talking about everybody, but this applies to most expats here in the Philippines.
Applies to actually most, so.
Okay, so why is old is gold now that the tourists are coming back? Now, again, most foreigners will come here and they will find that some of the women would be relatively easy to court and take home and become their wives. And I said some because, again, this does not apply to all. There are a certain percentage of Filipinas who actually basically are groomed to grow up and find a foreigner to be their husband. Now, not all. Again, you can't get any woman here. Okay. So, why do foreigners come here in the Philippines to find a young wife? Most of them are old Caucasian expats or African American expats that are from the West. They come here, they marry a young Filipina. And most of the reason why is because it's not because Filipinos are submissive, which they kind of are, but it's because of their values. We're one of the few countries that still basically believe in taking care of our spouse, thick or thin. We're groomed to cook and clean and all of that. Well, at least, I mean, I'm trained to cook and clean.
They're hardwired for it. Somebody's trying to escape out the window.
Oh, shoot. It's just Jack. He'll be fine.
He's used to the street. That's BB.
Oh, BB? That's okay.
We have our window open. It looks like Bella Bear is trying to get out the window. Bella, don't you even think about it. So they are hardwired to do these things. So.
And also, I understand that some of you expats have a hard time communicating with the locals, but for the most part, most Filipinos do speak English and understand it. Okay, granted, guys, I'm born and raised here. Don't let my lack of accent fool you, okay, guys? But for the most part, Filipinos, they can speak English. It's very broken, very, very broken English, but you can still communicate with them.
You can. Which will bring us to the first one, and these aren't in any order. So we're going to talk about why old is gold and why the Filipinas are gold to each other. They can get any women in another Asian country, but the reason they choose the Philippines is because most of them do speak English. So going to Japan and Korea and places like Singapore, there's a very broken communication with each other. So they choose the Philippines for this reason.
Okay. Also, single mothers, they have a bigger chance with Westerners because, quite honestly, here in the Philippines, when you're a single mother, you're somewhat like a taboo type. Unless your husband, like, basically died. If your husband left you, you're kind of like somewhat frowned upon.
It's not easy for a Filipina to remarry. If she's divorced or her husband dies, they usually just stay single. And their best chances, and I'm going to say probably half that we know and see on the internet, they've got kids already when they actually get married or get together.
Right, and most Westerners are already used to this type of environment. They're used to divorces, and they're used to meeting people on dates that already have kids, and it's normal. Mm-hmm. Right. Also, again, most Filipinos or most or less, most Filipinas. Okay. Mostly Filipinas are.
Got a whole gaggle of cats here.
I know.
Hi guys. Look. Hi. Go ahead, Tiger Kitty.
Hey, Tiger Kitty. Alright guys, also Filipino women, okay, it's kind of like, what would you say, like the 70s, most mothers train them as homemakers.
Yeah, they still have those values, although some of the really young ones I hear don't cook that well or clean as well as actually some of the other women in the past. But yeah, they're kind of, like I said earlier, they're hardwired for it right now. It's just like they're natural nurturers, they're natural cooks, they hold the values. Now, some bar girls, though, you could wake up with nothing at all if you try to bring in a bar girl from Walking Street. Not all, because we're going to hear that there are some guys that did marry these bar girls, which are quite a few, and that they did make excellent wives and mothers and all that. We're not saying that not all of them do, but mostly these girls you meet at the bar, most of these girls that you meet online, they get here, they've sold everything to get here, and these girls just do them wrong, empty their bank accounts, they build a house, 1 year later, they end up outside the house. So
and to be more specific, the provincial women are the ones who actually still train this way. The one in more metropolitan areas, aka Manila, Makati, stuff like that. Some in Angel City, they're pretty much not trained for that anymore, which means, and what I mean trained, again, usually the mom teaches them how to take care of the household, how to cook, clean, how to cook certain dishes. And that's basically, it's kind of like, again, like I said, in 70s America, every mom taught all the girls, like how to cook and clean the house. Same here in the province, they still do that. In the newer, more modern cities, not so much.
That's true. And also, just an FYI to all the guys, that if you're dating a Filipina, first off, I wouldn't date her online. I know some guys have had good luck. They even get married online. They even come over here. So, but meet them in person. That's the first thing that I've seen over and over again is meet them in person. When you get here, there'll be plenty of women. Also, when you don't date a woman that has dated multiple Western men. That's
well, the real reason for that is it's not so much as I guess discrimination. It's so much as you're basically fighting a shadow that was before you. What I'm saying is, oh, she's like, oh, this expat used to take me here. Oh, this expat used to wine and dine me here. Oh, this.
They're jaded. Correct. There are reasons that the Westerners did leave them that they didn't find compatible. So you wouldn't want to actually do this. Older men from the West find Western women to have too many problems with alcohol, infidelity, mental illness, and lack of intimacy. And Western problems like to boot. So they choose Filipino women because most do not actually have these issues. So to all those expats out there that watch our videos and watch our forums, I have to say that, as I'm to understand, a lot of you guys ran from women like me just to run to a Filipino. Well, they still have their problems too, but we understand why the Western men, actually, the old Western men run here, but it's not without.
And guys, to answer the infidelity question, just so you guys know, Filipinos and expats will agree with me. They run a tightly knit community, which means if you do anything, if you flinch, the neighbor will know.
they do.
So what I'm getting at is we're basically trained to behave, period. So because if we misbehave in any particular way, right or wrong, the whole neighborhood will know about it. And infidelity is a big thing. It's very derogatory for a woman who commits adultery here. It's very serious, guys.
But on the other hand, it's okay for the Filipina guys. We do hear that it's kind of like it's not okay for the woman, but a lot of Filipino guys do. Therefore, the Filipinas will run to a Westerner. Although a lot of Western guys are cheaters too. There's a lot of problems with these expat guys that are actually coming here. They're not without their own problems. Hey, and if any of you want to sit down and have coffee and discuss this, come to our area and we'll sit down at Eggs and break eggs. So Filipinas love tall men and older Western tall men, just like the guys like the petite Asian Filipinas. And they kind of go from loud, overweight, unhealthy Western women that take 3 hours to get ready, and all of a sudden they're looking at a 100-pound petite Asian girl that puts on $2 worth of Dollar Tree makeup and she looks like a doll. True story. True story. So they both have something that they're actually offering. And a good man in America cannot find a woman if he's considered too ugly, too fat, and not sufficiently wealthy to offset all that. I can kind of agree to that. So if you're looking strange or ugly or out of place or something, you're kind of out of luck in the United States. A lot of Western women, aka possibly me, might actually have a problem with you guys. That's why I found a good-looking Filipina guy.
Where?
right? The Philippines, you have a lot better luck in actually doing that. And I know George doesn't want me to discuss this, and I told him last night that I was going to. I have experience in dating older men. I had dated a man a few years ago, and he was over 70, and he was a multi-millionaire. But honey, money is not everything. We don't want to deal with some old stuffy guy that has no personality whatsoever, and we're just not going to deal with it. Where on the other hand, old is gold in this country, and the women will actually date these gentlemen with all these issues. So you have a much better chance to make it here in the Philippines.
But guys, just to be fair to the women out there, Filipino or not, don't abuse your women. There is a limit to what anybody can do.
Yeah, whether
and
you're
I'm pretty sure you've heard
a Karen, whether you're
a lot of expats have gone through like separations or divorces. Divorce is not common here. So don't abuse your women, guys. And guys, for the short guys out there, don't get upset with us. Okay, this is a fact. Women around the world, not just the Philippines, are attracted to tall men.
Unless you're 6 foot yourself, and
yeah.
It's like the opposite. I'm 6 foot tall, and George is like 5 foot, and
this is I'm 4 foot. It's biological, guys. Again, the bigger and the taller and bigger the guy is,
attract.
the more they can protect them. This is biological, guys. So don't take offense to this.
Right, and money is not everything to these Filipinos.
No,
so we're not sitting here
everything.
saying because we're stating old is gold, tourists are returning to the Philippines, and this is what Filipino women think. They are always happy, the Filipino women. They are into their community and super religious usually, and most of them already have jobs and keep jobs after they get together with their men. And the women or the older guys are actually tons of fun. They're well conversated, and this is a chance for them to get back their youth again. So with these women, they're just feeling young again.
As a rule, most Filipinos are jolly and merry regardless of the situation. If you actually watch videos on YouTube about Surigao or Bohol, even in the worst scenarios, you will hear a lot of laughter because it's just the Filipino spirit. We always laugh.
Yes, it's almost as we actually have heard. The Filipinas are like Disney greeters. It's like George is a constant Disney World greeter or something.
Oh yeah, and that's also a plus and minus. Meaning sometimes I think I kind of annoy her sometimes.
Sometimes he seems cold as ice. He really does. It's like he has no response or no. He actually is intelligent and he actually thinks a lot before he speaks. And it's like, is this guy going to answer me? And it's like, I'm a Westerner. It's like my patience sometimes goes.
Oh yeah, that's another thing, guys. Most of the time, most Filipinos won't answer you because they don't want to say the wrong thing.
Right. So they actually stop to think about it.
Okay. Another reason why, and this is a good point, guys. Just so you guys know, most expats get a Filipino woman for mainly, again, for example, me and Heidi.
Without George, I wouldn't be able to get around this town. And I think a lot of expats hide out in their houses here in Angeles City.
Pretty much until they find the one.
And they just, that's like when I got to Mexico. It was the same thing with the both of us until we got to know people and got to know the restaurants and everything else. The average tourist and the average person just isn't going to get out. Now, if you're that free-spirited person and shoot straight out on the first date and never, look back on the first day that you get here, then that's fine. But you just can't sit there and hang out in bars to meet everybody, and it's not a.
Yeah.
It's not a.
So technically, if you meet your partner, take advantage of that. They are your free tour guide. They are your free translator because there are some languages that you won't be able to translate or they won't be able to translate. And also remember, skin tax is real, guys. Don't go to the market and go shopping with your woman if you're sending her out to the market. That's a bad decision to make.
Your prices could actually.
They double, like what bananas. Okay, guys. If you guys watch my videos, I normally pay 60 pesos to 70 pesos per kilo. I took her out with me.
150 pesos for bananas, and
double.
That's really high. That's several US dollars for bananas. A small amount of bananas, like, yeah, we're not paying. I told you, I said, no, we're not paying that. So it's a lovers or married, the Filipinas will see their men as a business partner and vice versa. So the guys look at the women so they can help them set up a business, and they need a business partner because there are a lot of rules, and we're not going to go into them, about owning a business here, and vice versa. The women want to set up a Sorry store, they want to set up a business, so they kind of meet in the middle, and they actually form relationships over that. In saying that, in the end, old is gold, and the women are important they're important to each other because eventually they will build a home together. She will have financial security actually in the end. The Westerners find Filipinas so beautiful. We was talking about opposites attract. So where Filipino guys do not on average find Filipino women attractive. A lot of them are looking for light-skinned Filipinas. And so I was using that scenario. It's kind of like a fox in a chicken coop situation. You know, you have a bunch of, you know, you're like a fox and there's all these chickens all the time. They're all running around. You get kind of tired of the chicken. You're waiting for a buffalo to go by or something, or you're waiting for a rabbit to go by. So the Filipinos just don't find them as attractive. And when these guys come in, they don't care what chicken goes by. They're going to grab that chicken, and you guys know who you are.
You want what you can't have. AKA, if you have straight hair, you want curly hair. If you have curly hair, you want straight hair. You know, and so on and so forth. So most Filipinos don't want, they want Caucasian because that's basically what Hollywood is.
Right.
Okay, also another thing, of course, with age comes wisdom. With wisdom comes money and security. If you're older, same thing, most Filipino women, not just expats, they actually choose older men because they already know they're not wild anymore. They already know that they're already thinking of financial security, because guys don't mature like women do. We mature like at around 35.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. Well,
George is still waiting. You are. These guys will shower these women with gifts, take them to resort, fine dining, spoil them. These women get a lot of attention, and they're just not getting it from the Filipina guys. That is actually for sure. So we are going to wrap this up in saying that old is gold in this country, and the Asian women here are also gold to the guys, and that is
basically, guys, if you're an American or a Caucasian wannabe expat, this is a place to go to find yourself probably the most closest to perfect wife as you could ever have.
Yeah, this is especially a lot of you that are divorced, washed up, having issues, broken because of family issues. We already went through that in the last video. You guys know who you are, and I'm not going to sugarcoat it. We're going to keep it real. You guys come here for a second chance to sow sow your oats and be youthful again. And you guys come here for love. You guys come here to retire, but a lot of these guys are divorced. A lot of these guys are widowers or single. You'd be surprised that most of them are coming here single. And in saying that, the Filipinas have a good chance too with these guys coming. It looks to be that about 0.5% of the Philippines is actually foreigners and expats. So it's not as many as you think. So it is kind of like finding gold in a haystack, or what do you say, gold needles in a haystack.
Yeah.
So, but we're just going to keep it real again, and we appreciate you guys stopping in. And as always, looks like I talk a lot, and some of you guys like when I talk a lot, and others of you guys don't. You guys got to understand that I do a lot of studying and researching, and we speak to people, and so I tend to speak a lot more. I am more opinionated, and that's another thing that the Western guys don't like. They like a quiet Filipina, and a lot of American women, Western women, are a lot more opinionated. So
hey guys, and to be honest, again, we're not disparaging anybody, and this is to those who do judge. Remember, we don't have a problem with expats marrying younger Filipina and vice versa, because as long as it's a symbiotic, healthy relationship, there's nothing wrong with it.
There's nothing wrong with it. There's lots of love going on in this country. It really is. And we're so happy that everybody is getting to return. February 10th is just right around the corner, and I know a lot of people are excited. So be sure to check with your airlines. Before you leave, call the airports and get that information. Something just changed a few days ago. So We try to give some information. We're trying not to give so much information. If you guys want to email us at philippineantics@gmail.com, we'll answer as many questions. Everybody has a different visa they're coming in on.
Yeah.
Everybody has a different scenario of why they're coming in here. Email us. We'll try to find it out if we don't already know it. And if not, we'll ask some of our other friends that actually do. But again, check with your airline. Definitely they have the most up-to-date information, and call the actual airport, because we just heard that they're...
And it changes literally almost by the hour. When we posted that video, it literally changed
The last 2 or 3
a couple
videos.
hours afterwards. And it got Heidi upset because we posted the video and then we can't retract it because guess what? They change.
They change all the time. So where you guys all think that you are Facebook attorneys or Facebook immigration and everybody knows everything, everybody's giving different information out there. So as we say, check with your airlines. They're always going to actually know. And again, the Bureau of Immigration Direct will be a thing. So if you guys are coming in on February 10th, and I'm pretty sure I have this one right, they just released through Philippine Airlines and through another updated information that now it's required travel insurance. But check it out, guys, because there's all kinds of new stuff that just came up. So now the travelers, depending on who you are, may or may not have to have travel insurance. So check all that out. So, all right, guys, thank you, and be sure to subscribe. Thank you for dropping in.
Don't forget to hit the like or dislike button, whether you agree or disagree with us.
Yeah. A lot of you may not agree. A lot of you agree, disagree. Okay. All right, guys. Keep your heads up and your hearts open, and we'll see you soon in the Philippines. Bye. God, I don't know. You think they're going to like it? They're probably not going to like it. They're probably just going to talk about us on Facebook.
We open our mouths.
Oh, man.